most common misconception people have about new cars is that they don't break and that they are reliable.
All this fucking work to replace a radio.
This is a prime example of why it is so expensive to repair today's vehicles.
America's top mechanics are sounding the alarm, and it's not about old cars. They're warning that today's brand new vehicles are becoming repair nightmares. From hidden defects to shocking repair costs, millions of Americans are already getting rid of cars they just bought. So what's really going on? Let's find out.
Most common misconception people have about new cars. Most common misconception people have about new cars is that they don't break and that they are reliable. They do break and they are not necessarily reliable. However, they are under warranty, which is great. In a lot of ways, they are more reliable initially, but the problem that we're seeing is many of the electronics, many of the things that are on some of the modern cars are less reliable, and they're not made by the manufacturer. They're actually bought and installed by the manufacturer. And so a lot of times the manufacturer doesn't even know how a new system works. It's something that they've bought and installed into the car. And that can cause a lot of issues, especially with a brand new car, a new model, or something that's had a number of model revisions, some really cool stuff added to it, might be problematic in the long run.
Yo, Farley, you want to know why techs are leaving? Because all this fucking work under warranty to replace a radio pays 2 fucking hours with programming. This is ridiculous.
Welcome to today's episode of This is Overcomplicating Engineering Bullshit. On this episode, we have the 2023 Ultima. Why do I have to take down all of this? Fucking 3 screws, 2 screws. Remove this panel just to get to the cabin.
Do modern vehicles need more or less maintenance? And specifically talking like 2020 and above versus early 2000s.
We used to rarely do timing chains, okay? Every car needs spark plugs, every car needs belts, brakes, maintenance items, tires, highware items, what have you. Timing chains now are becoming routine maintenance, which is crazy, but I'm about to explain why. So any GDI that has came out, that's gasoline direct injection, all of them consume oil like no other. Before, we would not see cylinder wall scoring, you wouldn't see skirt drag, you wouldn't see any of that, unless it was super high mileage, like over 200,000 or approaching 200,000 miles. Then that's normal, because any metal component will wear over time, right? That's why it's important to change your oil. So now, all what we have done is we have put a fuel pressure washer down in every single cylinder, literally. So instead of the fuel, cleaning off the backside of the intake valves, we have put high pressure fuel systems directly into the cylinder. And so that pressure washes, potentially, oil that's off of those cylinder walls, which is needed to lubricate rings, okay? So where am I going with this? They consume oil like no other because of stuff like that, okay? You have no oil lubricating the rings and the cylinder walls. And then now, all of a sudden, your rings aren't sealing properly. You have oil that's going now into your combustion chamber, right? And then out your exhaust. So we're running vehicles low on oil, right? Every vehicle has been ran low on oil unless they are super on top of it, right? As far as maintenance, which we already know any customer usually isn't. And then you have manufacturers now boasting 10,000 mile oil changes. I think you just made a video about that too. So I hope that answers your question. I would tell you that they're way more maintenance prone because you really have to stay on your maintenance, or else it's going to end up in costly repairs.
Modern cars aren't just getting smarter, they're becoming financial traps. Manufacturers are obsessed with fuel economy and emissions, but durability has taken a backseat. The result? More complex systems, skyrocketing repair bills, and cars that don't seem built to last.
Well, if this is not a great indicator that you should not buy anything built by Stellantis, I don't know what is. We've had numerous vehicles coming in, these late model Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep coming in that are under the Stellantis title, they're just falling apart. These 3.6s are having so many cam issues, and just even the 5.7s, we're starting to see a bunch of junk on them. So if you're looking at a late model Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, I would definitely recommend you avoid them because they're starting to become big problems.
All of these little GM cars with the Ecotech engines, they have an abortion of cooling system. They always leak. It doesn't matter how many parts you replace, the new parts leak 10, 20, 30,000 miles down the road, unless it's an OEM replacement, and then it might last 40, 50, 60. And then Every single time you're trying to pop off one of these hard plastic cooling lines that have a stupid ass pop-in fitting, just snaps off. Well, now we're getting to the point where some of these lines are back ordered. So what are you gonna do? Exhibit A. This pops into the water outlet, and it just pops in to that metal. So we're just going to sit here and act like hard plastic lines aren't going to get brittle and deteriorate when coolant's running through them nonstop? Come on, dude. This is such piss poor quality, it's ridiculous. But anyways, had to replace this, and this probably isn't even 6 months old. Moto Rad. These plugs down here, they leak every single time on this replacement part, so we switched over to a different brand, Murray. Anyways, as you can see, I've already had this plug out once, replaced the O-ring on it, and covered it with RTV and popped it back in there. This time when I took it off, well, what's that? Oh, a big old chunk of metal missing? Wonder where that is. Oh, and don't come at me with you installed it improperly, blah, blah, blah. 89 inch-pounds. It's easy. But, yeah, so that's a month out, that line. So what I had to do was take a piece of brake line, trim the hard plastic line, shove the brake line inside of it, and then take hose and slip it over and clamp it in place. Cars are not quality anymore. It's quantity over quality, and it's fucking piss poor.
This mechanic isn't exaggerating. Many GM owners report the same frustrating problem: cheap plastic cooling components that crack, turn brittle, and start leaking far sooner than they should. What looks like a small part can quickly become a surprisingly expensive repair.
Well, if you're gonna buy a new AT4, like you're 26 or any other year, maybe don't put the hoist under the frame, because actually, maybe don't even lift it off the ground. Maybe don't even wrench on it or touch it, because why paint it, right? These guys are just trading their trucks in every year, so why give them something quality?
Got a Chevy with some rust on her. This is a 2025 with about 15,000 miles on it. Again, 2025, 15,000 miles on her. She's seen better days. It seems like the other manufacturers that paint their frame tend to do a little bit better. But she's still pretty freaking new. And if you don't know, GM, well, they use like a wax coating. Here you go. You can see getting down to bare metal. So that's just bare metal right there. It's not painted. And I don't know why GM does that, but you can see like our leaf spring, that's actually painted metal, and it's in a lot better shape than the frame that's surrounding it. What do you guys think about this? I don't know. Now, yes, we are in Canada, and there's a lot of salt coming onto the Silverado this winter, but, I mean, for a basically brand new truck, very new truck, let's say, seems like there's a lot of rust under there.
Imagine buying a brand new truck, only to find rust creeping underneath within months. More owners are raising the same concern, leaving many to question whether corrosion protection is being sacrificed to cut costs.
I have no idea how to explain this to the client. How can I explain to the client that his serpentine belt is inside of the engine? Literally. I have no idea how it happened. Really, look guys, the client bought this car 2 months ago, and the car was supposed to be perfect, but it's not. It's far from that, and I will tell you what we found by far. First thing we did was replacing the brakes, and maybe no big deal, just replacing the brakes, but we opened the rear ones and we find this. So the brake shoes for the parking brake are completely gone. Where's the rest? Here's the rest. Here is the material, the brake shoe material. It's gone, it's garbage. Again, we look at the shock absorbers, the rear ones, and we replace the covers. Actually, this for the front ones, there were some remains of the rear ones, but never mind. But this is junk. It doesn't go back. I could maybe try to pull it back up. Now the front. Wheel bearings, shot. The bearings of the strut tower, junk. Front suspension, a lot of play. I mean, this could be normal, this is not tragic, but look at this. Look at this. Everywhere play. Now the engine. We remove the oil pan, and these two bolts and these two were just glued on. The tips of the bolts were just glued on, and the moment we just touched them, they just snapped. They weren't even screwed in. We have oil leaks, we have coolant leaks, we have turbochargers wastegate. Listen to this. Rattle on both of them. I cannot show you the second one with one hand, but you need to believe me. We have oil loss, we have oil leaks from the turbocharger. The turbochargers are shot. And what else? The client was told the oil has been changed 3,000 kilometers ago. That is, 2,000 miles. This is the oil from the car. You see how black it is? It is gasoline car. It is not diesel. This is not new oil, and I will prove this with this tool. Okay, we put this in and go play. Now, if the oil has really been replaced around 3,000 kilometers ago, it should be at around 70%. But it isn't. Let's see. It is at 0%. I have no questions anymore.
This was supposed to be the perfect car, but just 2 months later, it had turned into a complete disaster. As the mechanic dug deeper, one failure after another appeared, exposing a nightmare no buyer ever expects to face.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh no, they want to take away our right to repair vehicles and our ability to repair vehicles. None of this stuff is at all new to me, and you shouldn't be too surprised either. I remember around 20 years ago standing around a downed tree drinking beer with friends, as we did in those days for some reason. We were watching an old guy rebuild a chainsaw on the tailgate of his truck, and his reaction when he saw that he had plastic cages in his crank bearings was priceless. He rattled off expletives for about 10 minutes. Words like Chinese and throwaway saw were also tossed in there. Then he began a lecture that we had heard many times before, but it was always amusing. This lecture began with something along the lines of, this all started when they took away our grease fittings, then they took away our rag joints and gave us universals we couldn't replace in our steering shaft. Now they want us to replace entire units instead of fixing them. Soon we're going to have to replace entire cars instead of fixing them. It was amusing for about 3 hours until we were too tipsy to keep up, or we were just tired and went to bed. But this guy was right. This guy's discontent was a bit misplaced. He was mostly outlining the fallout of consumerism, but it doesn't help. Your right to repair things has been under attack for a very long time from all different angles. It goes like this. Make it difficult to repair things. Make it so it's not fashionable to repair things. Make it so it's not profitable to repair things. And finally, make it illegal to repair things. That's why I struggle so much, don't have any money, and I'm not cool. Soon I'll be a criminal. Awesome.
What if repairing your own car is becoming nearly impossible by design? As vehicles grow more complex and repair costs keep climbing, many believe manufacturers are making simple fixes harder than ever, forcing drivers to pay more every time something breaks.
You ever feel like all of a sudden your vehicle is like fishtailing in the back end? Well, that's a common problem on these GMC Acadias. Chevy Traverse, Buick Enclave, super common. Let me show you the problem. I got lots of customers with these vehicles, and every single one of them, eventually, higher mileage, boom, coil spring breaks right there. Other super common issue. Jack it up in the air, grab your tire, and grab it at 12 and 6 and press in and see if there's movement. A lot of times, people might think it's a wheel bearing, but no. It's the bushings in these control arms right there and right there. See how this one looks like kind of like a boomerang? They get play back and forth like this. And 90% of the time here in Michigan, those are seized up, and you got to use the double nut trick to press them out. Or you could chop them off and replace the hardware. Your call. If anybody knows where you can get coil spring insulators from like a local parts store or whatever that actually fit nicely like OEM, somewhere besides the dealer, let me know. Anyways, we're going to let this control arm down slowly after disconnecting that, and the shock, and that coil spring will decompress nice and easy for us with our patented Carl's Garage Super Extendo jack stand. The assembly will be reverse order. Jamie, show them your super handy brake caliper trick.
All right, guys, listen close. Super simple.
Very close. Don't have a caliper hanger?
Right.
No problem.
We're gonna go ahead and take her. You see, you got your ears here. You got a little slot back here. You're gonna grab it. Yeah, clip her down in there. She's gonna clip. She's gonna stay for you. You want to take it back out. This moves up a little bit. Press up, and then rotate it out, and then you're good to go. But you don't have a caliper hanger. Here you go.
Yeah, there's a
spot for it. You can bang on it. Don't fall down.
And built in on these models of vehicles. That was good engineering from the
Folks at GM.
yeah, those folks at GM. Yeah. All right, that's enough goofing around. See you later.
Reality of working on fucking cars. I had to replace the strut in this Ford Focus. Left front strut, right? Shouldn't be a problem. No, because the axle won't come out of the fucking hub. The ball joint wouldn't come out of the fucking spindle there. And the strut wouldn't come out of the spindle because none of that shit would come apart. So I had to disassemble the entire left front of the car. This is the reality of working on cars. And then let's just take a look to the right here. Oh, my guy Junior here is putting a rack and pinion in a Chrysler van. Nothing but fucking rust and headaches and broken fucking bolts. This is the reality of working on cars every single fucking day. So we can do away with the fantasies and all the, oh, it's such a great industry. It's a pain in the fucking ass. Isn't it, Frank? It's a pain in the fucking ass and it makes me fucking angry. That's why it's called Angry Bob Mechanic. Because of the cars.
Can never make enough videos about this horse shit that Dodge does. This is a Journey, 2017 Dodge Journey. And once again, look at the fucking bullshit you gotta do to change your fucking battery, man. You gotta jack this cocksucker up and take your fucking tire off to get your battery out that's bolted in right there. Isn't that wonderful engineering? Why not shove it up your ass instead? It would be better. I mean, it's bad enough you fuckers stick them under the seat. Why don't you just stick the fucking thing under the hood where it belongs? What a fucking joke. You gotta pull a tire off, pull off all this plastic to get your fucking battery out. And you know, taking it out any other fucking way. I'm not doing this in a parking lot, in a fucking, at the theater when my battery goes dead because my kid left the light on. What the fuck? These fucking people. Fucking take this car and you drive it off a cliff. Don't buy this piece of shit. If you own it, get the fuck rid of it. Anything that says Dodge on the back, I don't give a fuck. Get rid of it. Everything is junk. Let's remember that emblem right there, and let's take a look at the back. You buy something like that, that'll get you where you need to go and back for the rest of your fucking life. Not that. That'll get you in a fucking repair shop like mine and bring your fucking wallet. You don't buy this. Dodge, if it says Dodge on the back or Journey, you're not doing very much of a fucking journey. You should journey right to pick apart. Stuff's trash. There's nothing good about this car. Anyway, it's fucking aggravating as fuck. I gotta go through all this hell to put a goddamn battery in a car. What a fucking joke. Don't buy this. And don't buy anything that says Audi on it. I don't give a fuck. They give it to you for free, take it to the fucking junkyard. Don't drive it unless you like walking. Anyway, aggravation.
What should be a quick battery or maintenance job turns into a costly nightmare. Thanks to terrible engineering and space-saving shortcuts, even the simplest repair can require tearing apart half the vehicle, leaving owners to pay the price.
This is a prime example of why it is so expensive to repair today's vehicles. This Mazda CX-5 came in with a differential bushing that was completely blown out and torn apart. And as you can see, that bushing is completely ready to fall out of the car. Mazda does not sell this bushing by itself. This bushing is easily able to be pressed in and pressed out. However, they don't supply it to us or anybody in the world. So the only way to service this bushing is to replace the entire subframe. And that is a lot of added cost, time, labor, materials that is unnecessary. And we hate to see this, but our hands are tied when we cannot get the parts.
See this little Ford logo right here stamped on this thing? 2021 Ford Bronco just finished the water pump at 60,000 miles. Check this out. Would you buy something like that? I think I would rather get in a car crash using my toolbox than I would with this Ford Bronco. This thing's a POS if you ask me. Yeah, I think if you get in a car crash with this, you'll probably die.
Customers are always asking me, Ryan, why do you not like BMWs? What is it about a BMW that you don't like? Let me show you. Everything in the car is plastic. Everything is plastic and it's so brittle. This broke in my hands, but you can see where it's dry rotted. The white is stretch marks and dry rotted. So everything is brittle and plastic. Even replacing such as the water pump, the impeller inside the water pump, plastic. This fin, vacuum actuated fin, plastic. It is all plastic. All these coolant line hoses, they are all some form of plastic. This vehicle that you guys are paying so much money for, yes, they're nice vehicles. They look beautiful, right? They're a beautiful piece of equipment. They look beautiful. But y'all have no idea what y'all are really paying for. You guys are paying for brittle plastic. Do you believe things that get hot and cold should be made in plastic, or it should be made with something that lasts longer? The materials that they're putting in this is cheap as hell, and you guys are paying top dollar for this. As a mechanic, would I ever drive one of these? Hell no. Nice to own, it'll break your wallet. I'd rather go with a Toyota or a Honda or something like that that'll last longer. But honestly, they're doing the same thing with plastic stuff as well too. They haven't gotten to the point with plastic hoses. Everything is still rubber. But just be wary. You guys are going to spend a lot of money if you like this brand. Just be wary.
Luxury badges don't always mean lasting quality. More premium cars are packed with cheap plastic parts in critical areas. And when they fail, owners are left facing repair bills that can cost thousands.
What car brand would you never own and why?
I would never own a Hyundai or Kia product, or basically anything KTM, because they just keep blowing up no matter what you do with them.
What car brand would you never own and why?
Easy. That one's gonna be Hyundai. Not good cars at all. Nothing about Hyundai is good. Kia's another one.
What car brand would you never own and why?
Probably wouldn't ever want to own a Hyundai or Kia product because after 100,000 miles, they just start falling apart.